When did you decide you wanted to be Miss Universe? What advice would you give to young women watching on how to deal with the pressures they face today?
You are the director and you're the producer and you're the actor, you're the writer of your film, which is you, your life. So don't let anybody take the control of it.
When did you realize that was the field that you wanted to go into?
I went on the stage and I just felt confident.
Are you a competitive person?
I'm very competitive, of course, and anybody who knows the purpose of their life, who wants to succeed in their life, if they're not competitive, I'm so sorry.
What happened post winning the crown?
I was like, great, wow, I won Miss Universe, what's next? And that's where it hit me.
There is controversy around a change in your appearance.
So I was really upset in the beginning when I kind of saw people trolling me around the world. I was upset. I started eating more. Food became my comfort.
At 22 or at 21, how did you build that mental fortitude or rewire your head?
Enough. Enough of crying. Enough of self-pity.
What advice would you give to young women watching on how to deal with the pressures they face today? I think that was the question they asked you when you won Miss Universe. And I think that's an answer everyone appreciated. But you've been through a lot. It's been 5 years. Would you like to answer that question again?
I think yes. I mean, whatever I said on stage that night just came out of my heart. And I think the only thing I want to say if I had more time was just to make sure that just repeating the words, I would say, like believe in yourself and just focus on yourself. This is your life, you know. I read this one thing that, ye aapki kahani hai. You better write it the best. You know, this is your story. This is your life. So you make it the best out of it. And just be happy. Just enjoy ups and downs of your life and just breathe.
Do you remember that answer?
I do remember it. And it's so funny. That's because people around me, my friends, my team, everyone, they kept on saying it every time. So now I have it. It's so funny. I mean, it's okay being self-obsessed, but I have it on my mirror. So I don't know. You want me to say it again?
Yeah, I think what I want to get at is it came across as a natural answer.
It was.
And for all of us listening and kind of as I did research for this, I just wanted kind of, now that you have had a chance to reflect, you have been through so much of the last 5 years. We'll get to some of that. The answer, as you said it then, right? Do you want to change anything, or that's kind of how you think of it?
A lot. I think a lot has changed for sure. And I think being more patient, that's something I want to add to that speech. And being more calm, understanding and then taking decisions, and quality over quantity. That's something I've learned over the few years after winning Miss Universe. Just be patient, just take your time, never lose your confidence, and always choose quality over quantity. Like, it's not about how many things you do, it's about what you do and why you do it. Because you leave an essence about yourself in the end of the day. And I think for me, that has been one of the most prominent keys of my life.
But when you speak of quality over quantity, and you know, we were discussing before, but obviously you're only 26 now.
I'm not 26 yet, but okay.
You're only 25 now. I'm 38, and so there's rooms where that's the age gap for me, but the other way around, right? I've been in rooms where the only people talking to me are 50 and stuff like. And so I'm assuming they feel like that is that, oh, you have so much life left to live, right? So if I talk to now people who are significantly older than me, and this, 35, 40 is a weird age because you'll meet people both spectrums,
right?
People who are 20 and then 25, and then people who are 50. How did you come to that realization of quality over quantity?
In general, I think when I say that, I mean through the professional personal life I share. If I start with professional, it means the quality of work I do. You know, even if it's about films, brands, anything that I do, any kind of work outside, which could be about charity or any of the causes which I'm very close to about. It's always about choosing minimal things, but choosing the quality of the things. It's like if I have to explain you the current situation of my life, being an actor and just taking a baby step in the industry, it's about choosing a great script, a great team, than just signing films, And it's not easy because life is all about taking the right decisions, and you're not always to it. But you have to be smart enough to understand what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And personally, it's about the people I have in my life. It could be my team, it could be my family, it could be with whom I talk and share my, with whom I can just be myself. And everything else, the kind of thoughts I put in my mind, the kind of energies I want to be surrounded by. I believe in quality over quantity. It's just that simple for me in my dictionary.
And as you kind of started that journey,
yes,
was there a time where you felt like it's all quantity? Let me just sign everything I can. Let me do everything I can. Like, did you put pressure on yourself?
In the beginning, because I started at a very young age. I started doing theater at the age of 16. I didn't know anything about movies or anything because I come from a very small town. I don't know if you know Batala. There's a shahar, Batala in Gurdaspur, which is in Punjab. Okay. So I come from there, and I've been fortunate enough to have a wonderful family who have always supported me, being the youngest and the only girl. So for me, it was something that I always had in my heart, that I wanted to just make my family proud. Okay. And then as I grew up, I realized that I want to make my country proud. And as I became a woman, I entered Miss Universe, winning Miss Universe as a girl. And then I ended up giving the crown as a woman. So that's where I realized I want to do it for the women around the world. Women are coming from different backgrounds, different colors, different shapes, anything, just celebrating women in general. So that in the beginning, I was always about, I want to do everything all at once. And I still have that because I think maybe because I'm a Piscean also, but I have this thing of getting and putting it all in my box all at once. But you got to be practical in life. You got to be smart in life. You can't just take very quick decisions, comes back, it reflects back. So in the beginning, I was always like 17 year when I was 17, I wanted everything. And then I realized it's about breathing, understanding life and growing with life, and then choosing quality.
So when you kind of start theater at 16,
yeah,
or when you sort of leave a small town in Punjab, and you decide to enter beauty, how do you decide to enter beauty pageants? What was the thought process like?
Honestly, for me, I just wanted to be confident. I just wanted to be myself. I grew up as a very shy, timid girl, and I was kind of always bullied, because I was always like a thin girl.
Okay.
So I was always this very fragile and used to just get very disheartened about any kind of comments that I used to get. So that
bullied in school?
In the school, yeah. It's like preteens.
Yeah.
And I remember I came home and I told my mom, I said, it's not fair, like just before 16. So she kind of played a very important part in my life. I mean, she has always. But during that time, she kind of broke that and she told me that this is your life. Nobody tells you what to do, how to be. And they never you are the director and you're the producer and you're the actor, you're the writer of your film, which is you, your life. So don't let anybody take the control of it. And that kind of stayed with me. And that's where I realized that I'm going to just do it for myself. And I know pageants are seen in a very different way, which is fair enough because I think everything is seen in a very different way until and unless you be a part of that, And for me, I also had a different perspective. Trust me, when I won Miss Universe and I was on the stage and Steve Harvey just announced me that in India, after 21 years, and I was born in the year when Lara won. So for me, it was like, are you for real? For me, being that shy, timid girl who didn't want to go to school just because the way she looked, today she is Miss Universe as the pride of her country and bringing back the crown for the country. For me, that was what I wanted to do. But I thought it's just about looking pretty and just waving. I'm being damn honest about it.
No, that's fine.
And I was like, great, wow, I won Miss Universe. So what's next? I have to just glam. I have to just look pretty. I have to just smile, I had to just wave. But no, with me, my experience of Miss Universe, it wasn't the same. I, at the age of 21, thought of just eating fries and just smiling. They rather took that. They took the crown away and they gave me the megaphone.
Yeah.
And they gave me that, the bundle of papers to just talk around the world. And that's where it hit me that, oh, Miss Universe is not about just looking pretty. Of course, that's one part of the world. So is it in acting or anywhere where it's about, where you get exposure and you have to just, I would say more than pretty, you have to just be presentable, right? I mean, you will make sure that you take care of your appearance. And if you get compliments, it doesn't mean that differs you from others, but it's just like you're respectful about yourself. It's self-awareness. And in beauty pageants, that was one of the major goals. Apart from that, it's also about your personality. So for me, and according to me, I remember when I won Miss Universe, they all say, you are, वो कहते हैं ना कायनात, Miss Kainat, और आप विश्व सुंदरी हो, which means that you're one of the most beautiful women in the world. I said, that's wrong. I'm not sure about that because everybody's beautiful and it's very subjective. But I will consider myself as one of the most confident women around the world. And that was the narrative that I set, and I believe I kind of succeeded in it during my year. And for me, that was pageants.
But when you entered,
Yeah.
are you a competitive person? Did you enter to win?
I'm very competitive.
Okay.
Of course, yes. If I'm not competitive, I don't think I would have won.
Sure.
And I think anybody who knows the purpose of their life, who wants to succeed in their life, who has goals, if they're not competitive, I'm so sorry. It's being honest.
Yeah.
Because if you dream about something and you sleep over it, it's never going to happen. But if you dream about something, waking up and making sure you're going to turn your dreams into goals, that's the desire, that's the fire in the belly, that's the passion, that's the craziness, the wildness, the madness you need, whatever it is, whatever you want to achieve. You want to become a pilot, you want to be an actor, you want to be an engineer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a politician, anything in the world. It's never small, big, anything. Whatever you want to do, if you're not competitive and you don't believe in yourself, I don't know what you're doing in your life.
So when did you decide you wanted to be Miss Universe?
I never wanted to become Miss Universe. This is another funny story.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make my country proud. I just wanted to be called as India. And I had it very serious in my life that either it's in acting, modeling, or something. And maybe Miss Universe. That was my thought.
Did you always know it was going to be something associated with, traditionally associated with being pretty, or traditionally associated with kind of appearance?
I think I'm absolutely not wrong when it comes to women. And correct me if I'm wrong, even about men now. Everybody wants to look beautiful or handsome, So, and especially, sadly, women are always objectified when it comes to the way they look. And now things are changing because even men want to look beautiful or handsome or presentable,
I mean, let me put it slightly differently. Like for me, if given an opportunity, right, I would always have picked a sport.
Yeah.
I'm not good at any sport.
Okay.
But I, like a boy growing up, I would
Right.
love to play.
Right.
Then you kind of take that. If you want to play any sport today, you have to be fit,
That's true.
right?
Of
There's
course.
no other option. So, if you talk to somebody who plays sport when they're young, or when you talk to trainers, like as much as you need to practice your technique for cricket or football, you also need to be fit.
That's true.
And so my question was more from that perspective, was
Okay.
that when you were growing up, and different people have different, there's
Experiences.
kids that want to be fighter pilots and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? So
yeah.
in your mind, was it always going to do something to do with the arts, which is theater or Miss Universe, where then aesthetic is a little more, and again, we can get into this, right? Even looking sort of aesthetically pleasing is a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I'm sure you'll explain that to us. But the question before that is kind of, when did you realize that was the field that you wanted to go into?
So my mom's a doctor, and I kind of told her very honestly that I cannot become a doctor because I'm really afraid. I'm very opposite to her. But I knew that I always wanted to, when you're growing up, especially during your preteens and teenage, you have lots of dreams.
Correct.
I wanted to become a judge.
Okay.
I wanted to do law. I wanted to serve for my country. Then I wanted to also be a player in hockey or badminton. So it was all mixed. All what I
Play
knew.
a lot of sport?
I did, yes. I was in the 10th grade, I was the captain of my hockey team.
Oh, nice.
And then, and for, you know, how beautiful you said that women in sports, it's now getting there. You know, like recently I was at the Premier League for women. And I think I was very grateful to kind of, you know, say a very beautiful poem on women empowerment. But it was really beautiful to see that because I think it's always segregated, the sections for women and men. For men, it's about sports or something else. And for women, it's just about pageantry, for example. But mind you, there are pageants for men also.
Of course.
You know, and
Yeah,
of course, for me, I wanted to be in arts. You know, I wanted to either become a judge or from a country. And I remember I was 17 and I just entered my college. And I was confused between badminton, that I would really want to play for my college. So that's where it starts from. And I passed by my notice board and I saw that they are taking auditions for theatre. I said, okay, I want to try. Let me go. Because I have always enjoyed doing mimicry and all in my house. And my dad used to, you know, laugh out loud. And I think that's where I got it from. We used to come back from any family functions and I used to mimic all my aunts and uncle and everything. And my dad was also, you know, he was also a very talented person when it came to shairi, you know, he had a lot of interest in extracurriculum activities like Bhangra and everything. So did my mom during their college days. And I think I got it from them. I've definitely got it from them. So I saw it and I went and I got into the college, you know, youth festival. That's what we call that. And from there, I never looked back because I went on the stage and just felt confident. I just felt so happy. And it just made me realize this is what I actually want to do.
It's funny because if you hear people talk or listen to interviews, there's so many times that an actor or a comedian will just fall in love with the rush the first time they do it.
Yeah.
And that kind of continues.
Right.
Was it like that for you?
Yes. I kind of started enjoying the liberty of being on stage, being myself, living up to different characters and just being me, you know, doing what I really want to do. And my family support me in this kind of, you know, acting and everything. This is really new, you know. I mean, I come from a really different background. Then I remember there was a fresh face happening, something in my college, and I just went on stage again, me being me.
Was that a pageant?
That was something like a pageant, like a Miss Chandi or something like that. And from there, I started, and then one day I saw the Miss. I turned 18 because that's a minimal age for that. And then I tried and I was not winning. I mean, every time I failed, you know. 2-3 times I tried for Miss India. It wasn't happening. And then COVID happened.
Okay.
And that fire in me wasn't settling. And I was like, okay, I know I'm failing. It's okay. I mean, I have to work on XYZ things. It's okay. I'm going to come back again. Because if I give up, then what's the point? Whole point is, lage raho. Aaj nahi to kal nahi to parso. Ek hafte baad, ek mahine baad. After 1 year, 10 years, you will get what you want.
Of
Maybe
course
in
you
a
will.
bigger, you just have to keep going. So 2021, I saw this audition. I said, let me try one last time for pageants. And if I don't win, it's okay. I'm going to still make my country proud anyhow. And I went and I won. And I had only 1 month to prepare for Miss Universe.
Okay.
And I went and I won again.
What were the things that you had to improve?
Lots of things, you know, being shy, timid girl. Communication was the biggest thing that I kind of, I had to be more articulate. I had to be more, you know, intelligent about speaking my words rightly. Then the way you stand.
Can I just hold you there for a second?
Yeah.
As a 18-year-old,
Yes.
you know, there's so many people that I meet that I have the same discussion with, and this is in a more professional setting.
Right.
But I think the argument holds. I think in this country, unfortunately, communication is a challenge. I'm sure people would love to know, how do you go about practicing and improving communication as an 18-year-old?
So I come from a Punjabi family. So ਅਸੀਂ proper Punjabi ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ हैं, you know, proper ਖਾੜ ਕੋ ਮਾਝੀ ਵਾਲੀ. So my Punjabi is excellent and Hindi also, of course. English, because that was rarely used when it came to schools or anything. And when I...
There was no English in school?
No, of course.
Okay.
I mean, English medium school. I'm just saying, I would rather prefer talking to you in Hindi, for example. मतलब अभी भी ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. मेरे को कोई पंजाबी मिल जाए तो मैं उससे पंजाबी में बात करना शुरू कर देती. So for English was always like, घर आके English में we never used to talk, or maybe rarely. So for me, when I got that feedback that I really need to work on communication, I started reading newspapers. It was that easy. Or books, for example, just started reading it and saying it in a different ways, and that was something practice.
And how much time did it take, or what kind of books were you reading? How did you get into that? Because again, there's your story is so much more indicative of the rest of the country, which is not everyone is born in South Bombay or Bandra or South Delhi.
Right.
And so they do have some of these challenges.
Of course. And it's absolutely normal.
No, it's
normal.
It's natural.
It's
both
natural.
normal,
Exactly.
it's natural.
That's the word.
But I think what's also normal and natural is you do get an advantage
Yeah.
in today's day and age if your communication in English is good.
Yeah, right.
And so it is something you should work on.
Of course.
And so I think so many people would gain
Right.
from kind of, because the other thing that everyone talks about in pageants, especially at the level that you want them, is exactly that.
Exactly.
Is that you were kind of almost celebrated for your communication of an answer as much as for how good you look.
So that's one of the reasons why question answer round is in top 3, not in top 60 or 21.
Yeah.
Because that kind of plays a very important part. See, my ideology on that is everybody better look presentable, not for others, for themselves. And of course, I mean, you should just be happy in your skin, and that is something that really enhances your personality, but that's not just your personality. I mean, okay, fine. You just see somebody very beautiful, a beautiful human being sitting here, and you just look at him or her, whoever it is. But you keep looking for how long? 5 minutes? It's actually about how will that person hold your concentration for the next 15 minutes. And that's how they speak. That's who they are. That's what they believe in. And that's where, the personality speaks louder than just beauty.
And you would credit books and newspapers for helping you kind of get to that level of confidence.
And now podcast also, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's really difficult for you to read a book. I mean, I still do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes just to break that, maybe when you're getting ready in the morning, or whenever, maybe when it's a really bad traffic situation in Bombay. And I think around India now, you can just keep watching it, and you never know, you find that one word that can change your life, or that one person that you have watched in the podcast can change your narrative of your life or your life in general. And I'm very happy this is the new, future.
Yeah.
And it makes everyone's life easy. You can even listen to podcasts, you can watch podcasts, and I think that it's actually, what podcast exactly is. And this is my first. So I'm very grateful. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure. I see podcasts as people sharing their life experiences, which kind of saved them in their life to save others.
Sure.
You never know what clicks to someone, and they might just take that. And you never know what anybody is going through. And maybe that one thing they say, and that can change and maybe save them from any kind of thoughts they have in their life, and just tell them it's okay. We all are humans. Yeah, my life story is different. So is yours. Everyone's going to be different. But this is what I did in my life. It kind of helped me. And I hope it helps you by sharing that experience.
And what were you going through? Because, and you kind of hinted at this, right? But you said, I thought I win, and then I get to eat fries.
Right. And I did.
And
I did.
And wave my hand. And the only other interview I found was the one on the Daily Show.
Yeah, that was the last which
I am honored to be second post Daily Show. But what did you go through? Kind of in your mind, what happened? What happened post winning the crown? And kind of, was it stress? Was it nervousness? And you mentioned celiac. How did you kind of lose yourself, or did you feel like you were losing yourself? What was happening?
Of course, there are many days I feel like losing myself. But then I have to just remind myself who I am and what's the purpose of my life. And I think it's absolutely normal. We all lose ourselves. I mean, tell me if you haven't lost yourself sometimes in the process of life.
I think the frustrations of the kind of life we live get to you.
Yeah.
And it is really funny because overall, I can speak for myself, but I truly understand how lucky I am in terms of where I am and what my parents did. But there are moments where, you don't care.
Right.
You know you're lucky, but you're still angry that something didn't go your way,
Of course.
or you really want something else to go your way.
Expectations always.
Right. So you kind of have to
disappoint.
juxtapose those two things, right?
Right.
Because there's always the argument of, "Arey, don't worry about your life. Like, see how many people are worse off than you,"
I
and that's
know.
legitimate.
Yeah, right.
But it doesn't always help.
I know. That's
And so that's kind of, I try to balance in my mind,
Right.
which is I truly understand
right.
how lucky I am.
Right.
And there's still times where I am sad or miserable.
And it's
or
okay to be
upset.
that. Yeah, because
Uh,
I mean, there's something inside you that's making you believe that this is not enough for me. I want bigger, I want better. And I think that's a beautiful, of course, you have to be grateful.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. But if you don't tell universe that I am happy what you've given me, but I want more, the universe will understand, okay, isko aur nahi chahiye to main itna hi rakhta hu isko. You know, in the sense.
So are you a person of faith?
I do, yes.
Do you believe in the spiritual? Do you believe in the kind of leaving the results up to the universe?
I do. I believe hard work and manifestation is what you can control. And the luck and what's destined for you, just leave it to the universe. I mean, I was just talking to, people in my team. I was talking to Harsh, he's kind of really close to me as a friend also. So something happened a few days ago and he said something and I said, that's a problem. When we ask from the universe, we put a number on it. मुझे एक गाड़ी चाहिए, मुझे एक XYZ चाहिए, मुझे एक चाहिए. Why do you want to say one? Just say, I want this. And you never know, it might come more than what you expect. And I believe in that. I believe in believing in universe, if that makes sense.
Sure.
I believe in manifestation because that's the kind of way you are telling yourself, if you're having a bad day, if you're not having a bad day and you tell yourself, oh God, I'm going to have a bad day, you will manifest that. That will happen. If I tell myself I'm going to have a wonderful first podcast with Rishank, it's going to end up like that, It's what you believe is what it becomes your reality. And you have to give those energies because there's a frequency. When you manifest something, you need those people with the same frequency. And what happens is that you end up achieving your goals. Maybe more than what you thought. That I want to make my country proud. There you go. You win Miss Universe for 21 years. That's a miracle. That's manifestation too.
And in that moment, you win Miss Universe, and I'm going to, come, because I think this is another aspect of your story that I think will resonate, which is that there is controversy around change in your appearance.
Yes.
And I find that ironic because a lot of the plaudits came because of how you answered. And a lot of the criticism came because of how you looked.
That's so true. Yeah.
Did that bother you?
In the beginning?
Yeah.
Because I've not had experience, so I didn't have anybody to tell me, this is what you signed up for, so you better be ready. Yes. Absolutely.
How do you deal with that? The trolls, as a 21-year-old who's just kind of achieved their goal.
Right.
How did you deal with the...
when I won Miss Universe, I had to be in New York for 1 year. I've never been to US before that.
Okay.
I don't know a single soul in New York. I am, for the very first time, staying away from my family. And I'm just a baby.
Have you traveled a lot before that?
With my family, yes. But not without my family and not to US. That too, for 1 year.
Okay.
I was very excited for this journey. It's kind of nerve-wracking for you to kind of be alone, And I thought, again, it's going to be wave and smile and kisses and all and just smiling. But my experience, very grateful because I think it's always nice to have stories to talk about than just winning and that's it. For me, it was a very different thing, gaining weight, especially during the time when they call you Miss Universe, the wish person.
You said when you were younger, you were made fun of for being skinny.
Yeah, yes. And then I gained weight.
And then you're being trolled for gaining weight.
Exactly.
And again, it's all relative because even that version of Arnaz, it's again relative to that.
Exactly. I mean, of course, I was really upset in the beginning when I kind of saw people trolling me around the world, people who were loving me around the world, it's about all the countries. And I kind of was really surprised, was really upset. And being a really sensitive girl, that kind of touched me. And I was upset and I'm being really honest. I started eating more. Food became my comfort. And honestly, it became,
And again, that's something that I think I've done in India talking
Yeah.
about it. Like that's something I think a lot of people you do find comforting in
Exactly.
food
You know,
or alcohol or so
Yeah.
many things, but food is one of the most common ones.
exactly. I mean, just imagine you being 21 and you just did something really big in your life, like really, really big, and you gain weight. That could be because of your hormonal changes too, because you are a compound girl, still growing, okay, and you go through that, and suddenly during the most precious time of your life, where people are appreciating you because that title holds for beauty, and you gain weight. That was kind of the time that was the time actually where I realized that this also has a story for me. It was meant to happen, Maybe I had to be that person to pass that torch to other women around the world. That it's not about how much you weigh on the weighing machine. It's about who you are from inside. If I, at this weight, can be Miss Universe, so can you. And I'm saying, if I'm being trolled because I'm Miss Universe and I am somehow a celebrity around the world now, on being on a global stage, being a global celebrity. If I'm being trolled, just imagine the women or even the boys who are going through that every day. I mean, literally, they are nobodies, but still, in the end of the day, they are the heroines. In the end, they deserve to be themselves. So for me, that kind of made me more stronger as a person, and I've been a strong advocate for women empowerment and menstrual health. That kind of just gave me a straight spine, and just I went even on Trevor Noah, anywhere around the world. I've been very vocal about um, just being a strong woman and not letting anybody tell you, because I am still beautiful, irrespective of how much I weigh. But of course, how Priyanka said it, the hate is gonna hate, the potato is gonna potate, so it doesn't matter.
Do you think, and this is just more a question in general on pageants, because they've helped you so much,
Yeah,
but you've kind of seen both sides of it.
right.
Um, you could become Miss Universe and put on weight. Do you think there's ever a scenario in which you can put on weight and then become Miss Universe? That is to say that how do you, can you run a pageant?
Mm.
Do you think that works if only the answers count?
Mm.
If almost you could hide behind a curtain?
Right.
Would that be a kind of pageant that you would have taken part in?
Absolutely no. I don't think, because my perspective of passions was that only. That was the reason why I told you in the beginning. I won't get into passions just to be confident, just to be myself, just to be heard, just to be the voice for the people, voiceless, or maybe, they don't get those empowerments. So they're not that much fortunate in life. For me, that was the reason why I'm growing up watching my mom being a doctor and being a woman, especially. And the kind of role she's played, not only in my life, but women around her. That kind of made me be like, I want to be that too. I just want to live for myself, and I want to make, just tell everybody else, if I can do it, you can do it too. But my prime goal was, of course, acting too. And again, what's wrong in just looking beautiful? What's wrong in putting makeup on? What's wrong in just kicking your hair done up,
I think it's more to your first point, which makes so much sense, which is that you have to figure out what makes you happy.
Exactly.
I think if you're doing it for someone else, I think that's where the challenge
Exactly.
is.
Anything you do,
Yeah.
anything, if you put on a dress for somebody, if you put on makeup for somebody, talk in a certain way because you want to fit in that box, then good for you. But how long will you keep doing that? You got to live your life. Nobody else is going to do that for you. And I chose this because I wanted to build my personality, whether it's about walking, whether it's about learning hair and makeup, whether it's about communication, whether it's about just looking beautiful, And that is what I wanted to break. That is not just about looking beautiful. It's about also the platform that you believe in or share. It's about what you want to talk about. It's about who you are as a person. If I, coming from nowhere with all these challenges, can win Miss Universe, so can you. Do anything in your life, I didn't let people shock me if it was about me being, in a, I'm not going to say fat, but not in the right shape according to lots of people around the world. But there were so many people who still loved me.
Yeah.
There were so many people, I mean, I've received so many messages and so many videos where people have told me that, thank you for doing this. I am confident today and I can just walk on the streets, be myself, because you proved that. You kind of really gave me that confidence, and that was the whole point.
Yeah.
You know, that was the whole point of being a part in pageantry. And I think I wanted to always do something out of the box, and that's why maybe that's the reason why it all happened during my reigning period.
And now that you're 5 years removed from this,
Yeah.
right? As someone again who's taken part, albeit one, but you've also lost your share of pageants, as you were saying.
Right.
As a concept, is that something? Is pageantry something that you feel should continue? Is that something that you feel can help people? Where do you stand on just kind of the concept of it?
Honestly, I think I've entered into a very different chapter of my life.
Sure. Yeah.
And again, experiences are very personal,
Yeah.
I have always looked up to Priyanka, Aishwarya, Sushmita, and Lara. Apart from being the beauty
Did you
queen,
study them
I
before you kind of went for this? Like, how did you prepare?
I know genuinely I didn't. Again, Miss Universe, I didn't know what is Miss Universe until I became one. And I'm really being honest on that. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
In the sense I didn't prepare to look into anything or being a person in a certain way, talking in a certain way or something. I was just like, this is me and I'm gonna win for just being me. And I think that's why my answer was so natural, because it came from my heart. But I've always been fond of these incredible women for not only bringing pride to our country but also being so confident either on screen or anything that they do. That kind of inspired me a lot, and they are like incredible women. And I never dreamt of it. I still remember when I won. I think it was Sushmita, and she tweeted so beautifully, all of them, of course, but she especially said this one thing. She said, "Welcome to the sisterhood." And that's where I made it. I didn't know. I mean, I used to always get that inspiration from them. I didn't know I'll be a part of, that. So I've always seen
You had a
pageants.
chance to interact with all of them as sort of time went?
Of
or-
course, I've met Priyanka a couple of times, and she's been a wonderful human being. And I think I've always admired for the woman she is. And Lara, of course, they've been incredible women, and they kind of have always supported me. So I'm just really happy. I feel so blessed.
And you've kind of followed, in many ways, their next steps.
Of course.
How did you? So when you kind of use anything as a
And followed in the sense, I'm sorry to cut you. Followed in the sense, not like try to copy them, but the kind of incredible decisions they have taken in their life. Somebody who has always looked up to them. What I felt like, just taking that from them.
Sort of, there are parallels to your career and sort of what you've done post Miss Universe, as
Right.
they had.
Of course,
as
yeah.
they had. One of the cool things is, and I don't know how much of an advantage you think this is, but kind of you've had to pick up English communication, and you're far more comfortable in Punjabi.
Very comfortable in English.
Punjabi English is more natural to you, or was something you
Because that's
started
my
with?
native language.
Correct.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm very comfortable. I mean,
We're having this, so
being around the world and talking, with people like Steve or Trevor or anybody, going to different countries, I kind of boosted my confidence more in that way.
what I was going to say was that one of the challenges that a lot of the young actors face right now
Hanji.
is they're most comfortable in English.
Right.
Right? Like,
You're
do you feel like that's an advantage that you have, that you are equally comfortable? Because, look, regardless of how this podcast is done,
Right.
or regardless of how we talk over coffee or lunch,
Yeah.
in this part of the world,
Right.
on this city, the movies are still in Hindi, right?
Cool.
The
Bollywood.
Correct. The movies will still require to speak Punjabi or
Right.
Hindi,
Right.
more in many ways than it would ever require you to speak English.
Absolutely.
And obviously Miss Universe is more English, but the
Yeah.
movies-
No. I think you're right.
And do you think that gives you an advantage, that upbringing, that
Of course.
fluency
Um,
in multiple languages?
I don't know if you have to, consider this even an advantage, because this is like,
Like, I don't think
this is my USP. This
but
is my,
correct. But I don't think your peers are reading Hindi books,
really, I don't know. I
Hindi-
know everybody who Hindi.
Hindi newspapers to improve diction. Like, I did
know,
think
I
your
know.
peers in the industry,
Right.
because I know I am not. I'm in real estate. I'm in Maharashtra, so Marathi is extremely critical.
Yeah. You know how to speak in Marathi?
Try my best, right? So I've gotten to a stage of being able
That's
to.
why I'm Mumbai.
I've gotten to a stage.
I'm trying to text you. I'm just trying.
I've gotten to a stage of at least being able to understand it.
Hanji, yeah.
But a lot of my replies are still in that, South Bombay.
It's also because you're interacting with so many people globally.
Correct.
And English is, it's one of the most celebrated language because most of the people around the world know it. And I still believe in broken English means bigger than anything. आपका message जाना चाहिए. आप किसी भी भाषा में बात करो.
That's what I'm saying, the communication aspect of it.
Yeah.
For example, and one of the smartest people I know is my dad, and he took English as a second language.
Oh, wow.
But his reading, and he's a chartered accountant, but his reading of English, like law written in English, so law, Indian law, and
Right.
Wow, has been so exceptional over his
Really?
lifetime, right? It's kind of one of the reasons we're here, and so those are two different things.
Right, Hanji.
Being proficient, being able to speak, was actually being able to understand the language. I've always considered those two as very different things.
Right.
But I'm just kind of fascinated because there's a lot of the people, a lot of your peers in the industry that I talk to don't actually have a grasp of or their primary language is not the language they do movies in. And, that sometimes that comes across, sometimes that doesn't. But for you, it is. And have you found that to be an advantage at all in kind of when you're doing Baki or when you're, maybe doing some of the new things that we don't know yet, but so you will tell us?
I don't know how to consider this as an advantage because for me, ये मेरी पहचान है मतलब मेरी भाषा मेरी पहचान है and I've always been very fond of languages. I don't know if you know this, मैं शायरी भी लिखती हूँ पंजाबी और हिंदी में, so I've always been fond of.
Can we hear some?
That's.
We'll give you a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I write English poetry.
That's beautiful.
And I have for a while, but I kind of do it more as a method of almost as self-therapy.
No, that's so beautiful. Yeah, that's the whole point.
Just as a method of putting down thoughts
right
onto words, and then I'm almost happier to then forget that.
But what is it more of like?
It's just, and we can maybe do post, both of us can write something, post, and let's see how much.
I'll write it in Punjabi or Hindi.
Yeah, and I'll do English. Let's see how much that embarrasses us. For me, like I said, because it's for myself. Because it's almost just a way to vent. And I'm generally not a screamer, so I prefer venting in that format.
Oh, nice. Now I really want to know it.
Yeah, I mean, there's at least once every 6 months something will really bother me or irritate me. Yeah. That's kind of the avenue that I find helps me a lot.
But I think this is again poetry, but in general, journaling, I'm just saying, in general.
It's a form of journaling.
Yeah, it's really important.
But I'm very lazy. And so, because poetry is short, I find that eminently more doable than a large journal.
But it's a lot of talent. It's not easy to put, no, you gotta like writing a paragraph and writing any poetry is different.
I think of it a little bit like
singing.
You
have to be very articulate with your words.
Yeah, but I think of it a little bit like singing in that you can do it in the bathroom and that's fine. But to be truly considered talented, other people would want to listen to you, right?
But do you sing also?
I don't. I listen. But like I said, whether it's a shayari or whether it's poetry, right?
Right.
I think you can do it for two reasons. And you can do it because you genuinely want people to listen.
Of course.
In that case, I really hope you're talented. Because, if that's something that's a passion.
Yeah.
It's like the podcast, right? When I do the podcast, you really hope people will listen.
Exactly.
But when I write, it doesn't bother me at all. Like if no one was to like it, I would still continue to do it.
Exactly.
But if no one was to watch this, there will be a time where I would stop doing it. Because this is both. This is both for myself, but you also hope that the world like it and, more people listen to it and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how I differentiate between talent and doing something for yourself. I think this is something that people would love to know.
Yeah.
How did you kind of get over your dependency on food? Right? How did you center yourself? How did you come back to start sort of eating too, which is be a part of a movie, like a big budget movie, sort of a Bollywood sequel, so to speak, right? And whatever you
One of the biggest franchise.
correct and stuff that I'm sure you will start doing from today. How do you go from Miss Universe being trolled, starting to maybe use food as a crutch? How do you leave that crutch? How do you kind of rebuild yourself?
It's not easy. I'm a Punjabi. I love food. अगर काम की बात है तो मैं खाने की बात बहुत करती हूँ. I mean, it's okay. But if I have to tell you my experience of fitting into the shape back, it took me 2 years.
Okay.
And 1 year it took me to mentally prepare myself that it's not going to happen overnight. Because I was always so frustrated in the sense I used to just go to the gym and I used to come back and I used to be like, I'm looking the same. Or, when you, in the beginning, when you go to the gym,
Yeah.
That first 1 month, you feel like maybe you're gaining more weight because you look more puffy or whatever,
Yeah.
So what I used to do, I used to go and then used to come back, get upset and eat again, and this is, I'm saying, I'm counting this from Miss Universe. So maybe it took me 3 years, actually, not even 2. I used to get so upset and I used to make sure when it's so funny, my building in New York, they had a Starbucks. So every time I used to go up, I could smell the coffee and I used to just go. I used to order a venti, caramel frappuccino, extra dessert, extra everything.
I believe that's a dessert.
After the gym.
Yeah.
Imagine. And I used to have twice also.
Yeah.
But it was because, it became my comfort because I was really upset not to see the change in my body. So it took me time to kind of tell myself that you have to be patient. It's a process, and I just, with time, because at that time I started reading books also to, it's not just about being healthy physically, it's about being mentally healthy. And if you just, मन में अगर ठान लिया ना अपने कि मुझे ये करना है, फिर तो जिंदगी में कुछ भी हो जाए, सब you can मुकम्मल कर सकते हो आप.
That feeling, that thought, that मैंने ठान लिया है.
Sorry, when I?
Like I have, I've taken, मैंने ठान लिया है.
ठान लिया, जी.
Well, is that natural to you?
नहीं,
Is that something you had to work on?
I think in general, anybody, when you get too comfortable in your life, तो फिर मतलब कुछ गड़बड़.
At 22 or at 21,
Yeah.
how did you build that mental fortitude? Or, how did you kind of rewire your head?
It's when you keep trying and you know that you're not giving 100%. There will be one day when you're like, enough. I'm going to stop that. Rather than cribbing and crying every day about it, like I'm not losing weight, I'm not going to do this, aise nahi hoga, because manifestation, again, I'm doing it wrong. I'm attracting that. That's becoming my reality. मतलब एक ना एक दिन वो आएगा जिस दिन आपका वक्त बदलेगा. And that happened after almost 2 years to me. To tell myself enough of crying, enough of self-pity, enough of, just being really upset and, having that angst in it. Like, why am I not losing weight? Enough of that. For next 6 months, I'm not going to look at the weighing machine. I'm going to just go, close my eyes, I'm going to blind myself and keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep it. So 6 months, I saw some results,
Okay.
And I think around that time, I kind of signed my film also.
Okay.
And that gave me more confidence.
Okay.
Now.
Baggy.
Yes, Baggy, It's like I always wanted to be launched in NG, So I was fortunate enough, I gave audition and I got selected and I was so happy. That gave me more, confidence.
What's the audition process like?
They give you the script and you have to just give audition on that. And it was, it was a proper, big cameras and everything audition. And they give me a scene. And I was very excited because this was the day I was waiting for. This was the day I waited for, after Miss Universe 3 years to, do it. And again, I did what I felt as an actor with the experience of theater. And that madness to be in front of the screen, because it sounds really silly to say, but I find camera my best friend. I am so happy. I'm so comfortable. I just love, doing, again, my passion of being on stage or being in front of camera. And I gave audition and I crossed my fingers. And then one day I got a call from Dipti and she just told me that I'm in for the film. And I was so happy. I called my mom and I was just really grateful for
Which one was more exciting? The Crown, Steve Harvey or Dipti?
That's a Wonderful question. After winning something that big, it hits you.
Yeah.
But when you know eventually this was the goal,
Sure.
again you feel like a baby. Again you feel like you're winning a crown again. So then that gave me more confidence, and I was fortunate enough to have 6 months more, or like 7-8 months more while I was preparing. Apart from just gymming, I was training because it's an action film, so I was training for the action. And it just boosted my confidence more, that I became more careful about my food. I started, I'm still on that. Just eating more of protein, little carbs, just eating mindful at the right time. I think that's something as an actor which I realize, that eating on time is very important. Agar 8 baje, if you're eating every day, you should eat at 8 a.m. You can't just neglect it ki aaj, since I've started or I'm shooting. No. You have to just take 5 bites, but just eat, and eat slowly. So I just became more consistent. I started doing swimming also, everything. Now I hate cardio, but I have to still do it. It just made me feel like that I knew I'm going to do it. Then if this is ready, then your body will be ready. It's all about the signs you give to your body, what you eat, what you put inside, not only the food, the thoughts. So when you have something on your plate that gives you extra confidence, I'm sure you can relate to that too.
For me, it's just ice cream. It's just
Vanilla ice cream, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, any ice cream, but if there's ice cream on my plate, the
Yeah.
confidence kind of flows in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the process. And of course, not to forget to mention some really special people around me who have supported me. That of course includes my friends and everyone. They believed in me, and I think that kind of gave me confidence that it's not only my dream, it's their dream too.
Sure.
So जब आपको पता नहीं कि इधर बहुत आपके आसपास 5-6 चाहे लोग हैं, वो कितने लोग हैं वो मैटर नहीं करता, बट वो आपको उस नजरिए से देख रहे हैं कि हमारी भी एक ये ड्रीम है, आप पूरी करोगे. Then you become the leader, and then you want to do it no matter what. For me, it was my dream, but when I looked around, I realized it was their dream too.
Kind of as an outsider, just, how has Bollywood been? How has Bombay been?
It's been wonderful. It's been very exciting. And I didn't know a single soul in the beginning, but now I've made a bunch of great friends who really support me. And I'm very, very excited. I just took a baby step in the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm actually
It's a very large step. And the movie is big. The banner is big.
Yeah, it is. Of course, I'm very fortunate enough to be launched by Sajid sir. It's a really like a dream come true. He's worked with so many incredible people. He's done incredible. I've been a fan of his cinema. He's done incredible films. So to be a part of that to a big franchise, and Tiger has been a great, great co-actor. And I was just fortunate enough to debut as a double role. And it was because the faith they had in me to kind of do this, as a debutant, it's a really big thing. So I'm always counting my blessings. So I'm very, very grateful on that. And I just took a baby step. So I'm actually excited for what's next for me, in the sense I can't. I was literally read your face on that.
What is, how do you, so two, right? Very the specifics you can give us, but assuming you can't give us specifics, in a more generic way, right? How do you plan to build on this? Like, what's the next manifestation? What would you want from your career, let's say, over the next 5 years or 10 years?
The most asked question I get now after, being a part of the industry is, what kind of cinema you want to do? And as an artist, I don't want to put a limit on this. I want to do all kind of films, all kind of cinema, anything where there's a story to tell, different. It's rom-com, or it's thriller, or it's a story, anything that makes me explore as an artist, because I'm a student of acting.
Do you study acting even now?
Of course, and it's
Try to improve, like, what are the kind of things that you
always,
Could you walk us through, like, let's say in your downtime,
right?
Sports people train,
Right.
Lawyers learn stuff.
Yes.
How would you go about improving your craft?
You can, of course, watch lots of films. That's one. But also, working on a communication. And this is my personal. I mean,
Just that's the question.
it's very, it's very personal. It's a personal skill. Acting, singing, anything. It's instilled in you. So nobody knows it better than you. And I love working on craft because I love being a great student.
Okay.
I'm so happy. My first director, Harsha sir, who directed Bagi, he gave me a beautiful compliment that you're a director's girl actor. Yeah, it's such a delight. And for me, that stayed with me so much. And that just made me believe that I just want to keep working. I want to just be a great student learning things. So communication, and acting skills, there are some incredible coaches here. You can, of
So
course,
do you go to coaches? Do you?
I do in
Yeah.
between. I do train with them, and I also believe that you have to spend an hour or two, depending upon just by yourself and just understanding what is your bestest emotion and what is your weakest emotion. If that makes sense when I'm saying that. Some of them are just your personal experiences. And I think the more of the life you've lived, the more it resonates in your heart, and that's what you live up to. Camera captures everything, your tiny wrinkle also, and your emotions. So it's just, you have to just feel. You have to just feel. And again, it's about choosing a script that makes you feel, so that comes and resonates to the
Have you found these? Like, what are we going to see you in?
Very soon you're asking me this thing. I just had my first film, but there are some incredible things coming up. Of course, I can't spill the beans, but there are some very exciting projects that I'm excited for it to come out. The announcements very soon, and from there, I'm just really really excited to live up to different characters, and just experience life from different lenses, different directors that I've been really fond of, and just enjoy this incredible process. And I think what happens is that when when you do a film, you not only live up to the character, but you become a different person. You live up to any emotion, and you just come back and you just realize the depth of it. And if agar aapki depth hai, so I think that just makes your job easier. I mean, that's just me as my personal point on that. And I've always been a very sensitive person. I always, when I watch films, I cry. Honestly, when a hero wins with a very dramatic punch, I love it.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm a Bollywood girl. That's what I've grown up to, and that's, now the tables have turned, and now I'm a part of this. So I look forward to this to incredible work that I can do with so many talented people in the industry. So let's see.
Awesome. Great. Harnas, thank you so much. This was great. We're very happy that this is your first podcast. We're very happy that you took the time off. Hope you enjoyed it.
Of course I did. Felt like talking to a pen only.
Sounds good. Hopefully we can do this again when you can tell us what new stuff you're part of.
Of course, with more experiences in my life.
Correct.
Again, thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful experience doing this, and thank you for everything that you do.